Has Mayweather met his match? We are making the rounds here on ESPN.com. Jim Basquil alongside Brian Campbell, who was there in Vegas. Hey, Floyd was in a fight.
That was as exciting a Floyd fight as you can really pile up.
Absolutely, and he showed something as well in the second half of that fight. Floyd Mayweather unified the welterweight belts on Saturday, but it didn't come without a struggle against Maidana, who made him earn it. Brian, you were there, and you also wrote about this post-fight, about did Maidana provide the blueprint on how to beat Floyd?
Well, Jimmy took a lot of the elements that we already knew that some guys have had success. Look, jabbing, cutting off the ring, going to the body, and he amplified that because he came out full bore, put maybe more pressure on Floyd than he has ever seen, and consistently backing him up. You know, it's hard to take anything away from Maidana because he came forward so hard, but the one thing he didn't do, though, was consistently land flush, clean shots, and that allowed Floyd to make those adjustments and come back and just really scrap it out, Jim. And I also think, you know, Maidana, he took advantage, in some ways, a perfect storm of things. Look, we had a very liberal refereeing job from Tony Weeks that allowed a lot of that action on the inside. I'm also not sure if this was really the most dialed-in Floyd, though, that we've ever seen.
Well, you got to give him a little bit of credit for changing the game plan in the second half of that fight, as you mentioned. He said he wanted to give the fans the brawling fight they wanted, but he changed that in the second half. So, should a rematch come, how should Floyd approach that rematch from a strategy standpoint?
Well, Floyd not only already said that he'd like a rematch, he already said that he'd come out a second time and box much more, conservatively, fight from the outside. Now, look, a lot of people are getting on Floyd, and I'm with them, for what a really disingenuous comment, saying, oh, I tried to fight this way to serve the fans. You know, I don't really get behind that. I think maybe he overlooked Maidana in the sense that he didn't think Maidana was going to be able to keep up this pace. I mean, really, none of us thought that. I think in Floyd's mind, he saw a guy coming at him, a limited guy that maybe he actually could stand and trade with. Maybe that he would have a chance of even stopping to put forth, sort of an exclamation mark at this point in his career. I think he got surprised, but look, he's the best for a reason. Made the adjustments and got it done.
Absolutely. Dan Rafael, you were also in Las Vegas. What did you learn that you didn't know before the fight?
I didn't learn anything. I saw Floyd Mayweather, like you said, make adjustments. We know he's able to do that. I saw Maidana come at him strong the same way he's done in most of his fights, including the recent fight against Adrian Broner. He did that. The difference was that Floyd Mayweather is better than Adrian Broner. So I didn't really learn anything. I guess if you had to pick something, you'd say that Floyd Mayweather dealt with extreme pressure, maybe a little better than maybe we might have thought. He's done it before a few times during his career. He did it against Miguel Cotto very well. Going back several years, he did it against Jose Luis Castillo in their fights. But I don't think we learned anything that we didn't already know. Maybe the one exception that maybe Maidana is a little bit better than some people gave him credit for.
Hey, Dan, we know Amir Khan is clamoring for a shot at Mayweather, but the talk post-fight was about that rematch. So who will Floyd fight next?
I suspect it will probably be the rematch unless we have some kind of earth-shattering situation where they can actually make the Pacquiao fight, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think it seems as though, based on the conversation both from Floyd, from Richard Schaefer, from Maidana and his side, that we'll probably get the rematch. Now, Amir Khan, I thought he looked very, very sharp against Louis Collazo with the co-feature. He looked good, strong at that weight, moving up to welterweight. Scored 3 knockdowns against a durable, strong guy who's coming off one of his better wins against Victor Ortiz. And in addition to that, Amir Khan survived some very rocky moments in the 8th round where he nearly got knocked down. In past times, he might have fallen apart. In this fight, he did very well. So he set himself up to be in that conversation. His issue is to balance his religious beliefs with Floyd Mayweather's schedule. Now, Floyd's going in September, so he says he's not going to deviate for anybody. And Amir Khan, a devout Muslim, is going to observe the holiday of Ramadan, which I believe it goes through most of July and into August, at which point he's fasting on a daily basis. And I asked him about that. He says, I need about a month after Ramadan is over to make sure my body is back in order after the fasting and the lack of liquids and all that kind of stuff, where he needs an extra month, which would preclude him from September. He said November would be fine. Don't think Floyd's going to move for him. So I think, therefore, we're going to wind up seeing Maidana, too.
All right, well, sign me up for that, Brian. Are you on board?
Look, I'd like that fight. I don't mean to be a spoiler here, but I think I know who won this. Floyd won it cleanly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Floyd's only got a few fights left. I'd actually like to see somebody else step in this spot, and that's no disrespect to the fight that Maidana gave him.
Okay, don't forget, for Dan Rafael and Brian Campbell, we are making the rounds every Tuesday right here on the boxing page of ESPN.com.